Hey guys, thanks for joining me for another Silhouette Sunday video. In today's video, I'm not going to be working on a project. I'm actually going to be answering another question that I received, and this one was actually on my blog. And this person essentially wanted to know if there was any way to get the faux stitch look that she has seen on a lot of metal dies by different companies. Now, if you're a card maker or you own a big shop or you watch a lot of YouTube videos, you've probably seen there are a lot of faux stitching metal dies available from different companies, from Lawn Fawn, My Favorite Things, even Simon Says Stamp has their own line of dies, and the faux stitching look on those metal dies is really popular. So I did a little bit of playing around in Silhouette Studio, and I'm going to show you the closest thing that I can generate that looks similar to the metal dies, but is not exactly the same. So if the question is, can you make an exact duplicate? The answer is no. Metal dies just tend to give like a really crisp edge, and you can get more from a manual die cutter than you can an electronic die cutter in terms of like those rounded edges. But anyways, that's another conversation for another day. But I'm going to show you the closest thing that you can get using your Silhouette to the faux stitching craze that's kind of going on. So as you can see, I have two shapes already drawn on my mat, and it's because I'm going to go through the process twice because it's actually really quite easy to create the faux stitching look. And I've just drawn this rectangle and this circle using the drawing tools on the left hand side, and I've zoomed in quite a bit to make this easier to see, hopefully, because I know in the past sometimes when I do detail work on the digital mat, you guys have said you have a hard time seeing it, so hopefully this is a little bit better. But anyways, I'm going to go ahead and select the shape, and once it's selected, I'm going to go to the offset menu, and then I'm going to create an internal offset, and I'm going to change it to 1/8 of an inch. So I'm going to make it 0.125 because that's 1/8 of an inch in Silhouette Studio. And on the actual dies, a little side trip here, on the actual dies, the line is actually much closer to the cut edge, and you'll see that when I show you the comparison. But just for the sake of the video, I'm going to stick with 1/8 of an inch. So anyways, so I've changed this to 1/8 of an inch, which is 1.25, and I'm going to select corner and then hit apply. And the reason I use corner is because this shape has no rounded edges, so I want it to be a sharp edge or a 90-degree turn, just like the original image. And with this still selected, I'm going to go to the line style menu and select the dotted or stitched line that looks best. Now, this one is probably the most pronounced, this one I've selected. The one right above it looks closest to what's on the actual die, but it's harder to see when it's cut with your Silhouette. So I'm just going to stick with the third one now. And to make this line more pronounced, you can change the line thickness here. It doesn't really affect the cutting too much, but it definitely makes it easier for you to see while you're working. So that's how you create that faux stitch line, and I'm going to walk you through it one more time with this circle. So you select the shape, you go to the offset menu, and you do an internal offset, and then you select the measurement you want. In my case, I have it at 1/8 of an inch, so that's 0.125. And then you can click whether or not you want corner or round. In this instance, I'm going to leave it round because this is a round shape. There are no corners. And I'll hit apply, and you'll see it offset about 1/8 of an inch. Well, actually, it's exactly 1/8 of an inch on the inside of the circle. And then I'm going to go to the line style menu and select the stitching line. And then I can make it darker if I want. And that's it. Now you have two shapes that kind of have a similar faux stitch style. Now, one thing you may want to keep in mind is that if you have your settings of your Silhouette set up to minimize roller movement, this is going to jump all over the place when you cut it unless you group it together. So I'm going to select the whole thing, right click, and select group so it stays together. And then I can do the same thing to the rectangle. Draw a bounding box around both, right click, and then click group. So they stay together when I cut them out and it doesn't jump around as much. So I'm going to send this to the Silhouette so you can see what it looks like compared to the similar or the same shape cut out using metal dies. Here are the pieces that I die cut using my Silhouette, and you can see the stitch lines going around the edge of the rectangle and here going around the edge of the circle. And I have two pieces that I also die cut using my manual die cutter. And one of the dies was from Lawn Fawn, the rectangle, and the circle was from MFT. So you can see it doesn't look exactly the same, but you can definitely fake it if that's your prerogative. But anyways, that's it from me, guys. As always, thanks for watching.